Good morning and welcome to the Virtual Village Hall. I'm Koen. I'm a personal trainer, but also a chef, and I help people to get fitter, stronger, healthier, and also trying to make them eat delicious, nutritious food and live an active lifestyle. So I hope you have a great morning. Today I'm going to show you 3 lovely summer lunches. Obviously the summer has been a bit hit and miss, but never mind. Let's try to make it a little bit more summery by eating some delicious summery food. So first of all, I've got a lovely gazpacho, which I'm going to show you. Gazpacho, you see it around a lot more again, but and it's very easy to do. Very easy Spanish soup, but cold, fantastic. And I've also got a Tomato Mozzarella Bruschetta. This is the easiest lunch you'll ever make, and it's very tasty. Lots and lots of flavor as well. You're gonna absolutely love that one. And I've also got an egg and salmon wrap with some smoked salmon and watercress. So I'm going to start straight away. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the gazpacho. Okay, so basically, you don't have to do any cooking for this. It's raw ingredients. And I've got here, if you can see them, so I've got some tomatoes, a little bit of cucumber, some spring onion, garlic, peppers, red and green, and a little bit of ciabatta as well. Okay, sort of to bind the soup. So all I'm doing really is cutting them up a little bit. So slicing up, I've got the tomatoes are sort of the main ingredients for this. I'm going to take the little green bits out. Okay. So this is a lovely soup. If you want something really light but flavor, with lots and lots of flavor, this is what you need to get. Because obviously soups are more like, especially when people talk about soup, it's sort of a winter dish or more autumn. But doesn't mean that you can't try something a bit different as well in summer. You know, when you go on holiday in Spain, you've probably seen them, gazpacho. But it's so easy to make. You can actually buy them now ready-made, but I'm telling you, making it yourself is so much better. Okay, so tomatoes. I'm going to put the peppers as well. So just slice, I hope you can see this, just slicing the peppers up. Now the trick is with the gazpacho is to sort of marinate the vegetables a bit. Okay, it's not like a smoothie where you can just go straight in and then just blend it. You've got to let it marinate, you've got to let it sort of, the flavors sort of gel a little bit, so you get that nice, lovely Spanish summery flavor. Okay, so the peppers already cut up. Again, you just put them in the bowl. More tomatoes, lots and lots of tomatoes for this. The recipes will be underneath this video in the comment section later on, so you will see it. Okay, but really give this a try. Okay, right. So tomatoes. Tomatoes are an incredibly versatile vegetable or fruit, depending on how you see it. Some people say it's a fruit, but it's actually more, people consider it more as a vegetable. You know, it's sort of almost in every dish, there's always a little bit of tomato to be found. You know, like you make a little sauce and there's always a bit of tomato puree, or, you know, bolognese, chili. Lots of people put lots of tomatoes in everything. And they're so good, so tasty. And this is the time of the tomato, the summer. You know, they're so bright, so good. Go to your vegetable shop, fantastic. So a little bit of cucumber as well, okay? And that gives you a little bit of crispiness in the gazpacho. That sort of freshness that you're looking for. Okay, now garlic. Not too much, because you don't want to sort of overpower it. So I'm only going to put 1 clove in there. That's so. And a little bit of spring onion. Now, some recipes you'll have red onions. Okay, I prefer the spring onion because again it's a little bit softer on your palate. Because if you put certain onions in, it can be very strong, and then all you can taste is the onions. So I find with spring onions it's a little bit softer on the palate. Right, and then to bind it all together, just a little bit of bread. Okay, okay, now that's it. The soup's almost, well, it's not ready, but just all your chopping is done. You don't need to do any more chopping. Then you put some salt in, okay, like so, and a bit of pepper. Right, now I'm going to also add some olive oil. Okay, that makes it a bit more Mediterranean. So we'll do 2 tablespoons for this quantity. And I'm going to add a little bit of balsamic vinegar. What that does is it sort of softens it up a bit, and it adds a little bit of sweetness. You know, you want a little bit of sweetness in there as well. Now, some people will put sugar in. Don't put any sugar in. You can put some different vinegars in if you want to. Sherry vinegar works really well. Even if you put some apple cider in, you can try that as well. So then you mix it all together. You can use your hands. I'm not going to do it now, otherwise, you know, it's just getting a little bit too much. But you just mix it up and you sort of massage the vegetables a bit. Okay, like so. Now you can put some spices in as well. Some people like a bit of cumin, a bit of paprika. You can put some chilies in as well if that's what you like. Okay, and then just all you do is you marinate it. Now you can, I would say I'd recommend at least 3 to 4 hours of marination. So sort of like that. And you got to keep it in your fridge because what you want is that ice cold sort of flavor coming through. So in a way, when you marinate it, cover it with cling film, put it in your fridge and keep it there. Now you can do it the night before, you know, you can do that. And then all you got to do is take it out, put it in your blender, which I'm going to show you now. Okay, I've already sort of done it before last night. And then you put it in your blender, like so. That's good. Okay, so, and that's all it is, and it's ready to go. I hope I can put it up now. That's it. Okay, now we're going to finish it off with a little bit of basil. You know, summer smells absolutely amazing. You can sort of smell those flavors coming through, the peppers. You know, the garlic, you can still smell, even though I've only put a little bit in, and then all you do is just pour it in there. That's it, you know. And I'm going to add a little bit of basil on there. So I'm going to chop a bit of basil up, like so. And then we'll sprinkle it all over the soup. There you go. Imagine now there's a bit of sun out there. You know, you've got your sort of seat out there. Maybe you go out there and you eat a very lovely gazpacho, and you're sort of in Spain. You know what I mean? Fantastic. Lots and lots of good flavor. So that's my first one. Easy. You should all give it a try. Okay. Now the second thing I'm going to do, again, so easy to do. Everybody can do it. You don't need a lot of skills for that. And that's the tomato mozzarella bruschetta. Okay, so you only need for that mozzarella and obviously tomatoes, which I've got here. And also some basil as well, and a bit of ciabatta. Okay, so we're going to start off. I'm going to slice this up. So, and I'll show you how I do it, because I like to bring out the flavor in the tomato first and then add the mozzarella. Okay, so everybody always puts everything together, and what happens is it sort of becomes a little bit of a mess. So you just slice the tomatoes. Okay, I will take the green bit out because I don't particularly like that. Like so. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is put a little bit of salt over the tomatoes, and already it softens them up a bit. And you bring that extra summer flavor out. Pepper and salt, and a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Okay, perfect. And then you just mix it together. And what happens is all your tomatoes are already getting coated with the salt, the pepper, and the balsamic vinegar. Okay, now the next bit, mozzarella. Okay, make sure you get a good quality sort of buffalo mozzarella. It's soft, it's creamy, you know, fantastic. So you can just chop it up a little bit, or just rip it apart, depending on what you want. Okay, just like so. And then all we're going to do is put it all in there. Okay, and I'll put a little bit of olive oil in, a tablespoon. Just over the tomatoes, mozzarella. That's it. And obviously, what we want is lots and lots of basil. So I'm going to put quite a lot in there. And that makes it completely different. Okay, so just chop up the basil. Now some people say if you chop it up, it will sort of discolor, and I get that. But if you're just doing it really quickly, don't worry about it, just chop it up anyway. Okay, so lots and lots of basil. I hope you can see that. I'll show you. That's it. Okay, so mozzarella, and it smells like summer. Absolutely fantastic. So tomatoes have a lot of lycopene in. You know, it's an antioxidant, and it sort of protects it from the ultraviolet rays, you know, in the sun, and it's so good for you. It's sort of got lots of vitamin A and C, fantastic. So, I mean, it's one of those foods that is actually in lots of things, but people underrate it a little bit. Right, so now we're going to put, I've already done the ciabatta, I've toasted it. You can put a little bit of olive oil on there if you want to, you don't have to. Okay. I don't particularly think it's necessary because you got lots of flavor in the tomatoes, and what happens is once you put it on top, it starts to soak through the bread and you get lots of flavor coming out. Okay, and then all you do is put it nicely over the top and you just build it up, because when you build something up with height, it looks so much better. That's what chefs do, you know? They put lots and lots of height on things. It doesn't matter if it falls off a little bit as well. Imagine making that for your partner or for some friends that are coming round, and you just literally said, look what I've made, and it's the easiest dish in the world, and it looks really, really chefy. Okay? There you go. There you go, fantastic. Okay, so that's dish number 2. Okay, now we're going to move on to the last one. Just give my hands a quick wash. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is the egg and salmon wrap. Very, very straightforward as well. It requires a little bit more skill, but if you try it a couple of times, I tell you, it's so straightforward. Okay, so I'll make a little space here. Right. So, the first thing we're going to do is make an omelette. Okay. So I'm going to turn on my heat. So it's the first bit of cooking I'm doing now. So we're going to make a wafer thin, as thin as possible, an omelette. So the way to do that, we've got some eggs here. You don't need anything else in the omelette, just eggs. Because the filling will give it more extra flavor. So 2 eggs, break it in there. Just put these out as well so you can clearly see it. Okay, right. So a bit of pepper, a bit of flavor, and a little bit of salt, tiny bit. And then you break up the eggs, so just mix it together. So that's the beginning of it, like so. Now the trick is, when you're making an omelette, is to make sure it's not too brown at the bottom. Okay, I've seen people trying to make omelettes, and some of them are cooked like almost crispy at the bottom. When egg starts to burn, it's not a very nice thing, so you've got to be careful with that. So the main thing to remember is to make sure your pan's hot, but not over that. You don't want it to be burning, yes, but if you get it nice and hot, what you get is it will cook really quickly, and then you move your fork through it. Okay, so then what happens is the cooked bit will go up a little bit, and then the uncooked bit, and eventually everything will be evenly cooked. You don't need to put it on the grill. It should be okay without, doing that. Okay, right. I think we've got a bit of heat in there. So I always use butter for this rather than oil, because you get that extra flavor. Eggs and butter go really well together. Okay, so I'll just take a little bit of butter, not too much. A non-stick pan always makes life easier as well. Okay. Okay, so this one has, even though I call it a wrap, it's actually gluten-free. So there's no sort of flour, if you know what I mean. It's basically just pure eggs, and it's just sort of like an omelette that you make into a tortilla. I mean, it's just a play on words. Right. Okay, so the butter's melted. Now I'm going to add the eggs. So make sure it's nice and spread evenly, and then you just, like I said, just whisk, so mix it through. So then all the egg is evenly cooked. That's it. We're ready. So you don't want it to stick at the bottom as well. So that's why you need to have a little bit of heat in. If you have it too cold, what will happen is that the egg will just stick to the bottom, and then you can't get it out of the pan. It's an absolute mess, and you don't want that either. So you want it to be cooked all over, but you don't want it to too brown, and you still want it to take it out of the pan very easy. Okay, so I think that's probably about right. Okay, so kitchen paper, we're going to start with, so then it makes it easier to make the wrap. Okay. I think that's just about cooked. Perfect. It doesn't take long. If you're unsure, you can always flip it over. But for me, this is perfect. Okay. There you go. So we've got the omelette. Okay, now we're going to put some creme fraiche on top. Get that creaminess coming in. You know, you want that. Okay, so a good tablespoon of it. Just mix it on the top, like so. Now, even if it cools down, it doesn't matter because you're still going to get a really lovely, lovely lunch out of it. I promise you, it's fantastic. Okay, now watercress. Oh, there's so many good things to say about watercress. It's got it's got iron in, it's got lots and lots of vitamins in as well. And all you do is put the watercress on top, like so. It's got that distinctive flavor, a bit of pepperiness, which you want, you know. You can be quite generous with this. And it's actually, watercress is actually in season at the moment. But if you don't like watercress, you can use something else. You know, you can put some spinach or something like that. You know, make your own things up and it's perfect. Okay, so, and then obviously, actually we're going to put a little bit of seasoning, so a bit of pepper, a tiny bit of salt. Not too much because the smoked salmon already has salt in it. And then we're going to put smoked salmon on top. Again, this is a lovely, luxurious lunch in the summer, you know, and you can sort of show off a bit to your friends, to your family. You go, look what I can do, and it's not that hard to do. Okay, be quite generous with the smoked salmon. Everybody loves smoked salmon. Okay, right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll it. Okay, so start at the bottom, just roll it over like that, okay, and then roll it again, just keep rolling it. Yeah, looks good. It's almost like a little pancake. Okay, now we're going to take a chopping board and put it on the chopping board. So I'm going to serve it with an extra bit of. I'm going to serve it with some salad as well. Okay, so I'm going to just make a little green cucumber salad with a bit of watercress in there as well. So all I've got is some leaves here. Just put them on the plate, like so. Again, build up a little bit of height. Got a bit of cucumber, some slices. Okay. That's it. So, lots and lots of vegetables. I love to add lots of vegetables to my food all the time because what you're doing is you're adding more and more nutrition to your meals all the time. People try to get to their 5 a day every day because I hear people say, oh, it's so hard. But what you've got to do is you've got to think vegetables all the time. So you basically think, how can I add more veg to my lunches, to my dinners? And you just let your sort of imagination go if you want to, if you know what I mean. Just, yeah, like so. Okay. So then, we've got our wrap, and then we just cut it in half. You can see the sort of watercress. It's a little bit tricky because of the creme fraiche, but I promise you, it tastes so nice. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bit of watercress on the top as a little decoration. Like so. And I'll show you. And here you go. You've got this lovely, lovely light lunch. The wrap with watercress, smoked salmon, Your friends come around, they're going to absolutely think it's fantastic. So I'm going to move those lunches to the front so you can all see them very well. So we've got the wrap, we've got the bruschetta, and we've also got the gazpacho. 3 lovely, light summer lunches. You're going to try them, you're going to think, wow, I'm on holiday, even though it's a little bit hard to go on holiday at the moment. This will take you straight down to the Mediterranean or even France, and you're going to be eating it and you think, absolutely fantastic. Okay, I hope you really enjoyed that. If you'd like to get more recipes, inspiration, you can follow me on the 500 Calorie Kitchen Facebook page, or you can visit my website, which is bodyhealthinvestors.com. Okay, there's lots of things that you can see over there. Or if you're looking for more structure and you would like to have a week of meals planned for you, I've got this really good thing called Nourish and Move at the moment, and yes, you can even get 50% off at the moment. So go to our website and you can see it there. Sort of a whole week of breakfast, lunches, and dinner planned out for you. You don't have to think about it. It's all there. Your week is done. Okay, and Koen's here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.